Hey everyone, welcome back to Instrumentation Lectures. Today we will start our discussion on a new topic, pressure measurement. Here is the course outline. First, we will revisit the basics like what is pressure, its unit, etc. Then we will see the different instruments used for pressure measurement and their classification. Finally, we will start explaining each instrument in detail, and in this lecture we will discuss about piezometer. So let's start our lecture. Before going to pressure measurement, let us ask the fundamental question in hand. That is, what is pressure? We define pressure as the perpendicular force acting on the surface of an object per unit area on which it is acting. We already know that the SI unit of force is Newton and that of area is meter square. So the SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. It is also called as Pascal, denoted by PA. Some other common units of pressure are pounds per square inch or PSI, atmosphere denoted by ATM, bar, inches of water, millimeters of mercury, torr, etc. Many techniques have been developed for the measurement of pressure. Instruments used to measure and display pressure in an integral unit are called pressure meters or pressure gauges or vacuum gauges. A manometer is an example of pressure meter which uses the surface area and weight of a column of liquid to both measure and indicate pressure. Another commonly used device for measuring pressure is Bourdon gauge. It is a mechanical device which measures and indicates reading with high accuracy. We also have vacuum gauges, which is a pressure gauge used to measure pressure lower than the ambient atmospheric pressure. Now, the techniques available for pressure measurement may be divided into three main types. Those meant for measuring pressures above atmospheric pressure and relative to it. The second category is those meant for lower than the atmospheric pressure and extending to very low values, also designated as negative gauge pressures or vacuum pressures. And the last category is those meant for measuring very high pressures and usually expressed in atmospheres. In all these cases, the pressure is made relative to some specific reference which is set to zero. When distinguishing between these zero references, we can use the following terms. The first one is absolute pressure. Here, the zero reference is perfect vacuum. The second is gauge pressure. Here the meter is zero referenced against ambient air pressure. So the relationship between absolute pressure and gauge pressure is P absolute, that is absolute pressure, is equal to Pg, that is gauge pressure, plus P atmosphere, that is ambient atmospheric pressure. We also have differential pressure, which is the difference in pressure between two points. This is mainly used in industrial process systems. Also keep in mind that differential pressure has no absolute reference to either absolute vacuum or atmospheric pressure. To sum up, let's see the relationship between all these pressures using an image. The y-axis here shows pressure. This line represents the vacuum pressure or the pressure at vacuum, that is absolute zero. Atmospheric pressure will be above this level. So let this line represents the atmospheric pressure. All the pressures above the atmospheric pressure is called positive gauge pressure. So suppose if I draw a line over here, the difference between pressure at this line and the atmospheric pressure is called gauge pressure, and it is called positive gauge pressure. Also, the pressure at this level can be expressed in absolute pressure terms, and we know that absolute pressure is zero referenced against a perfect vacuum. Therefore, we can represent absolute pressure from the zero reference, and this is the absolute pressure. Okay. Next, all the pressures below the atmospheric pressure level is called negative gauge pressure or vacuum pressure. So if I draw a line over here, the difference between the atmospheric pressure and this line is called vacuum pressure or negative gauge pressure, like this. Okay. Conventional mechanical instruments for pressure measurement are based on two distinct methods. The first one is direct measurement by comparison with the pressure due to a column of liquid of known density. Example, manometer. The second method is indirect measurement of pressure by measuring the effect of application of pressure over a known area of an elastic element, such as flat diaphragm or Bourdon tube. Okay, now we will discuss about direct measurement using manometers. Manometers are generally used to measure pressure of fluids. There are mainly two types of manometers. Simple manometers, which is used to find pressure at any point of a fluid. Then we have differential manometers, which is used to find the difference of pressures at 2 points of a fluid. Again, the simple manometers are of different types: piezometer, U-tube manometer, single column manometer, and inclined tube manometer. Also keep in mind that these manometers are used to find low pressures. Differential manometers are also of many types. There are differential U-tube manometer, inverted U-tube manometer, inclined tube manometer, and ring balance manometer. You might be wondering why there is inclined tube manometers on both simple manometers and differential manometers. You will understand the difference once we study the details. So right now just study it like this. Okay. So that's all about the classification of manometers. Now we need to learn each of these meters in detail. Let's start with piezometers. A piezometer is a simple device which has two hollow glass tubes connected at right angles to each other. So basically a piezometer is an L-shaped glass tube. So how to use this piezometer for measurement? For that, suppose there is a pipe carrying a fluid. Okay. And you need to find pressure at any point of this flow field, say at this point. What you have to do is drill a hole in the pipe and connect the piezometer there such that it is in contact with the fluid through pipe. So let me show that. You take the piezometer and connect it to that point. Now, due to the pressure of the fluid will enter the piezometer and rise to a particular height. Okay, note that this end of the piezometer is open to atmosphere. If we mark this point as point A and this point as point B and this as point C, we can see that pressure at point A is equal to pressure at point B because both are at the same level. Therefore, pressure at point A equal to pressure at point B. To find the relationship between pressures at point C and point B, we can use the hydrostatic law. Point B is at higher pressure, therefore PB equal to pressure at point C plus rho GH, where rho is the density of fluid. G is the gravitational acceleration, as you all know, and H is the height of water column, that is this height. Also, you can see that this end of the piezometer is open to the atmosphere. Pressure at point C is basically atmospheric pressure itself. Therefore, Pc equal to atmospheric pressure. Therefore, this equation becomes P atmosphere plus rho gh. And since we know that Pb equal to Pa, pressure at point A is equal to P atmosphere plus rho gh. So the final equation is pressure of fluid at point A is equal to P atmosphere plus rho gh. Coming to the applications of piezometer, They are widely used in industries to measure pressure of fluids in pipes. They are also used by the scientific community to measure the pressure of groundwater. To do this, they insert a piezometer long enough to reach the groundwater and see the height of water column in the tube. Then the pressure of groundwater is equal to P groundwater equal to pressure of atmosphere plus density of water into gravitational acceleration into height of water column in the tube. Now, the piezometer also has certain limitations. The first one is they can only be used to measure pressure of liquid fluids and not gaseous fluids. You can guess why. Suppose this is the piezometer arrangement for measuring the gaseous fluid in a pipe. If the fluid is gaseous, it will naturally flow out of the piezometer tube as the gas has no free surface. Okay, so you can't obtain any height of gas column. Another limitation is that piezometer cannot be used to measure fluids at high pressure. This is because due to the high pressure of the fluid, the height of the fluid column will be really high that it will flow out of the piezometer tube. In order to tackle this problem, you can make the tube really long to accommodate the column of fluid. But that is not very practical, right? So we can't measure high pressure fluids using piezometer. The last limitation of piezometer is that it cannot be used to measure fluid pressures that are lower than the atmospheric pressure. This is because since one end of the piezometer is open to the atmosphere, due to air pressure, the air will rush inside and there is a chance of airflow into the pipe. This is very inconvenient as it can cause bubbles. So we can say that piezometer can only measure positive gauge pressures. So these are the limitations of piezometer. Let us end the lecture with a problem related to the topic. Suppose we have a piezometer attached to a pipe carrying water. So pipe is carrying water. Given that the height of water column in the piezometer tube is 3 meter. So what is gauge pressure and what is absolute pressure? If this point is point A, we know the relation PA equal to P atmosphere plus rho GH. Here rho is 1000 kilogram per meter cube because this is the density of water, and also given that h equal to 3 meter and gs always is 9.81 meter per second square. Now let us calculate gauge pressure. We learned that gauge pressure is zero referenced against atmospheric pressure. So P atmosphere is equal to 0 pascals in terms of gauge pressure. Therefore, PA in terms of gauge pressure will be 0 plus rho GH, which is equal to 1000 kilogram per meter cube into 9.81 meter per second square into 3 meter, and this will be 29,430 kilogram per meter second square. We know that Newton is equal to kilogram meter per second square. So if we multiply both numerator and denominator by meter, we get Newton per meter square, which is Pascal. Now to calculate the absolute pressure, we add gauge pressure to atmospheric pressure. So 29430 Newton per meter square for Pascal plus atmospheric pressure, which is 101325 pascals at sea level. So the final answer is 130755 pascals. So that brings us to the end of this lecture, and I hope it helped you. If you still have any doubts or questions, leave them in the comments below and I will try the best of my knowledge to answer them, or some other viewer can help you. In the next video, we will talk about simple YouTube manometers, and if time permits, we will also discuss single column manometers. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.